United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Make note that Councilman Eckhoff is not here tonight. A copy of the Open Meetings Act is posted in the meeting room and accessible to the members of the public on the wall. We'll move into the consent agenda. All items under the consent agenda are considered to be routine by the City Council, will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member so requests. Item A, approve agenda as submitted. Item B, receive and place on file all notices pertaining to this meeting. Item C, receive and place on file all materials having any bearing on this meeting. Item D, approval of minutes of the regular meeting on January 5th, 2026, as on file of the City Clerk's office. Item E, approval of Treasurer Report of Claims in the amount of $1,102,110.64. Approval of Boswell Report of Claims in the amount of $251,755.90. Approval of BPW Report of Claims in the amount of $799,841.91. Approval of Certificate of Substantial Completion of the Corral Crossing Addition Project as recommended by the Board of Public Works. Item I, approval of pay request number 12 in the amount of $67,950 to Genesis Contracting Group for the Boswell South MSW landfill site entrance facility. Item J, approval of change order number 1, increase in the amount of $4,917.22 to Genesis Contracting Group for the Boswell South MSW landfill site entrance facility project. Item K, approval of pay request number 6 in the amount of $57,861.20 to Van Kirk Brothers Contracting for the 2025 Corral Crossing Addition project. Item L, approval of change order number 3 regarding the time extension for the substantial and final completion time extension with an $11,000 contract reduction, and pay request number 5 in the amount of $171,721.11 to Van Kirk Brothers Contracting for the 2025 Heritage Heights Addition project. Item M, approval of a special designated license for Beatrice Mary Family YMCA for a fundraiser on February 28th, 2026 from 5:30 to 11 at 1801 Scott Street, Beatrice, Nebraska. Item N, resolution number 7705, executing the ACCO Chemical System Usage Agreement number 011-52026 for the purchase of ACCO liquid chlorinating concentrate solution L as recommended by the Board of Public Works. Item O, resolution number 7706, appointing Thomas Brandley, David Painter, and Von Wright to the Beatrice Planning and Zoning Commission. Item P, resolution number 7707, executing the renewal of excess stop loss agreement with QBE Insurance Corporation for the city's self-funded employee health plan. Item Q, resolution number 7708, entering into the farm lease with Taton Harms for farming purposes. Item R, resolution number 7709, entering into a farm lease with Adam Kimling for farming purposes. Item S, resolution number 7710, entering into a farm lease with Devon Tate for farming purposes. Item T, resolution number 7711, executing the grant agreement with the Nebraska Department of Water, Energy, and Environment, known as DWEE, for the purpose of funding the city's tire amnesty program through DWEE's Waste Reduction and Recycling Incentive Grant Program. Item U, resolution number 7712, entering into a smart print agreement between the city and Eeks Office Solutions for the leasing and servicing of printers and other office equipment. Anybody need a clarification or anything pulled off? Seeing none, Mr. McLean.
I move the items listed on the consent agenda be approved, accepted, and ratified as presented.
Second.
Your vote, please. And that passes 7-0. Move on to public hearings and bids. We have one public hearing for the purpose of considering the application of Beatrice Petroleum LLC, doing business as NP Mart 36, 200 North 6th Street, Beatrice, Nebraska, for a Class D liquor license.
You want to call it Jay and
Yes.
Chet?
Gentlemen, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, whichever one wants to start.
From our zoning standpoint, the building is in CBD. Liquor sales is permitted in that zoning district. So I see no other effects. I did note that there is a church within 100 feet of the property. They do have a waiver included in their application packet. So from our standpoint, we're good to go there.
As far as the background investigation goes, the only thing that showed was a 2010 conviction in Douglas County on the manager. That was for selling tobacco to a minor. It's probably good to note that that was not listed on the liquor license application as well. Whether that just got overlooked or what, I don't know, but it was not on the application. Chet covered the state statute as far as the church, but it sounds like they have a waiver, so other than that, that's all we had.
Okay. Discussion up here.
The waiver means what?
And who issues it?
So the state statute, the way it reads is if you're looking to get a liquor license within 150 feet of a church, and it's got a number of other locations, but church is what we're talking about here. You file this waiver, and then the state liquor license, when they get their application, again, all you're going to do is make a recommendation tonight. Ultimately, state liquor license will get that when they see that they're that close to them. State statute says that a license may be issued if the commission, the Liquor Control Commission, gives notice to the affected church and then holds a hearing as prescribed by state statute. So the Liquor Control Commission, that's part of the waiver, will then give notice to the church, have a separate hearing, and then the Liquor Control Commission will decide whether or not to issue the permit or not issue the permit.
Thanks.
Okay. Dwayne?
Well, I was going to ask that same question, but thank you for asking it, Ted. The one thing that I do have a problem with this is because the church is located basically 74 feet from the building, and I don't know if anybody had ever contacted the church to let them know that there was going to be this tonight or not.
You did.
Yeah, I did.
So you answered your own question.
Answer your own question.
Well, I just wanted to know because I wanted to find out because the person I talked to said they didn't think so. So I was asking to see if somebody else had. Okay.
And that notification should come from the Liquor Commission.
Okay. All right.
Anybody else up here? Okay. If not, from the public. You guys are all done.
Thank you.
Good evening, council members. My name is Dave Houghton, 2804 South 87th Ave, Omaha, Nebraska. I'm here today on behalf of Beatrice Petroleum, LLC, doing business as NP Mart 35. We represent NP Mart. This will be their 36th, I believe their 36th location throughout the state. The members of this company are making a $1.5 million investment on the project. And they want to make it clear to the council that it's not intended to be a liquor store, although it is a Class D license. As I'm sure most of you are aware, the reality of being in the gas station and convenience store business, selling beer, wine, and liquor is a part of the mechanics of that and frankly necessary to making the business go since all the competitors are able to do that as well. We'd like your support today, and I think I could clear up some confusion. My colleague Sean Kelly was able to contact First Christian Church. We were under the mistaken assumption, and I think we were trying to reach out to First Methodist Church. We thought that was the church that it was closest to for the last couple of weeks, but we usually take it upon ourselves to be proactive in that way. I understand that although the board hasn't met, the pastor is here today, and I think that they will oppose the license, so I want to be upfront about that. If the council members have any specific questions about the business, the owners or the managers, I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have. Thanks.
Any questions?
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch. What did you say about the pastor?
Yeah, I believe he's in attendance tonight, and I assume he will speak after me in opposition to it.
Okay,
But I don't know if that's through their board yet or not. He can speak to that. I don't know if there's an official position from the church or not.
okay.
Typically, we try to work past those issues
Sure.
prior to
Absolutely.
prior to a hearing before council. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Don't run off.
Yeah, you're right.
I was going to say,
I thought you wanted to watch football.
We do, but, it's gone, so. Go ahead.
No, you go.
Okay, but kind of a side issue. Can you tell me what kind of signage you plan there?
Yeah, I don't know specifically for this store. I don't know how to describe it. They're in Omaha and Lincoln and elsewhere throughout the state.
I mean, is it 50 feet tall or
Terry,
no,
have
Terry,
X on
Terry,
across it?
that's not relevant for this hearing. This
Well-
hearing is for the alcohol permit, but he can go ahead and answer now that you've asked it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm happy to. I don't
Yeah.
know specifically what the architectural plan is for the building,
Yep.
other than the square footage, which we put in the application. Typically, it's not an overstated sign. I think it says NP Mart. Typically, what we advise, we do a lot of liquor licensing throughout the state. Typically, what we advise is not to do much in the way of signage that you might see elsewhere where there's, beer on sale, like the liquor sales kind of things in the windows. We think that's something that a lot of communities don't like. So we typically advise our clients not to do that, though strictly speaking, it's certainly within their right and the law to do so if they want.
I appreciate that.
I don't think that they will.
That's right in the heart of our town, so I was wondering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they do have to follow our rules and regulations on the signage.
Of course.
So this is a liquor
Okay.
adjacent
Just
here.
got to try to keep.
So first of all, I appreciate you coming down. I always vote, or I always try to vote against the liquor license applications when no one shows. It's just to be noted, he didn't have to be here tonight. So we've gotten them before where they simply don't show. They don't send a representative. The license application person doesn't show, and I vote against those. So, but the liquor license will go to Ann.
Ann Gordon, so
Gordon.
she's the general manager, she's
All right.
the operations manager over the 35 stores. The principal owner of the LLC is Arshad Nazir, and he's become a successful businessman. from Omaha.
Nazir, I Googled that, so yeah. As far as Google, I know who he is. So, is this the first one outside of Lincoln and Omaha that
No, I
liquor
mean-
licenses are? Because we're
Yeah.
different, smaller towns are
course.
different.
Of course, so don't hold my feet to the fire on this.
Okay.
I believe, I know for sure there's one in Norfolk, I believe one in Fremont, I believe one in Hardington.
Okay,
I would, I think roughly 15 to 20% of the stores are outside of Omaha and Lincoln.
okay. That's it, that's what I got.
Yeah, I just say to the council probably that I know firsthand personal experience what this all goes through. I was on his end of it before, and it wasn't any fun. We were perfectly legal, and everything that was said against our liquor license was false. It never happened. So if anybody's got those kind of thoughts, I'd probably discount them because you don't have that. You might have 100 years ago, but you don't have it today.
Yeah, and I think Tobias explained it earlier. We're just a vote. We don't
Correct.
make this. We don't make this decision. The Liquor
state
Commission
does.
makes this decision wholly, aside from what we do. I've sat here and we voted against them, and the Liquor Commission has approved them, and so we're just getting community information, but we don't make this decision.
Sure,
Yeah.
we understand that.
Yeah.
If it matters to any of the council members, I would just like to say also that while I believe this will, when you walk in the store, it'll be a typical convenience store, and NP Mart intends, which they do in all their stores, is sell fresh fruits and vegetables, convenience items, and they'll have a Hunt's Brothers Pizza franchise in as well.
So Tobias, well, maybe either one of you know, because it's not, I need to ask Tobias because it's not liquor license adjacent. So the $1.5 to $1.6 million that said development, is that above the purchase price of the property, or is that with the purchase price?
I can't speak to that. I don't know if
Okay.
it includes or does not include the purchase.
Doesn't matter, just curiosity. It doesn't.
Okay, yeah.
It doesn't matter. It was just curiosity, and it's not liquor license. But
Right.
while we were on it.
That is correct. Anybody else from up here? Thank you very much, and thank you for your interest in Beatrice. We appreciate that.
Appreciate it.
Okay, from the public. Good evening.
Evening, Mayor Morgan and City Council. Thank you for your time tonight. My name is Jeff Collins. Live here in Beatrice, and I currently serve as the interim pastor of the First Christian Church, located at 205 North 7th here in Beatrice. I've served in that capacity for the past 2.5 years approximately, and the First Christian Church is actually the church that I grew up in. And I've come to give testimony on behalf of the church board and the congregation concerning the liquor license request for this potential business located at 200 North 6th. Through a number of God-ordained circumstances, I was made aware of this public hearing tonight. An unknown gentleman entered our church this morning about 10 o'clock and told our secretary that there was a meeting tonight about the liquor license for this business. I later received a phone call from Sean Kelly, an attorney representing NP Mart. He asked if I had received the email that was sent back on December 10th regarding this issue. We hadn't received it. They sent it to the Methodist Church instead, or in addition to that, I think they were reaching out to them because they thought there was a 300-foot barrier or whatever. So today was my first correspondence with anyone about this public hearing and potential business venture. Mr. Kelly forwarded the email to me and that he had sent to the Methodist Church, and it stated the following: as part of the application, being within 300 feet of the church, we're required to submit a letter of support from the church. In lieu of a letter of support, Mr. Kelly was requesting, as an alternative, a letter of no objection or no opposition to the proposed location. It's my understanding, and again, maybe this is redundant, that you may already know this. According to state statute 53-177, no license shall be issued for the sale of retail of any alcoholic liquor or for a bottle club within 150 feet of any church, school, hospital, or home for indigent persons, or for veterans and their wives and children. The property in question is directly adjacent to the west of our church, and the physical structure is currently situated on the property at 200 North 6th, is approximately 75 feet from our church building. Just a review or a little bit of history, back in 2024 in August, a gentleman from Omaha reached out to our church to inquire about the possibility of operating a high-end alcohol establishment at the location in question. He knew it was against the city and state ordinances, but was hoping to obtain a waiver from our church. Our church board met on Wednesday, August 14th, and voted unanimously to reject that request. And our correspondence with him ended once he knew that we would not sign the waiver or an exemption to the ordinance. We want the city council to know that our church exists to impact the community of Beatrice with God's love, mercy, and grace. For the past several years, we've been the home for the community coat closet, distributing hundreds of coats each year for those in need. We support the Beatrice Community Food Pantry and the Warren's Table Ministry, as well as the work of the Willow Center out at the mall. We want Beatrice to be a strong and vibrant community, and we are thankful to call Beatrice our home. That being said, we feel strongly that allowing the sale of alcohol in close proximity to our church would be detrimental. Concerns such as loitering, littering, and overall appearance will detract from our mission to provide a safe and welcoming environment for our congregation. A church serves as a spiritual refuge, and it shouldn't be overshadowed by an establishment selling products that are counterproductive to healthy families and a wholesome community. And I just happened to, this afternoon, I thought, well, I'll just open up the website for NP Mart. And maybe you've already done that. And when you pull NP Mart up, what do you see? Alcohol, alcohol, alcohol. I understand it's part of the business. And every gas station, a lot of stores do sell that because Frankly, they make a lot of money off of them. The current position of our church board and congregation, including myself and my family, is that we are against any establishment selling alcohol in the vicinity of our church. The state of Nebraska statutes were drafted and approved for a reason, and we should respectfully implore the members of this city council to uphold those established statutes. If NP Mart decides to appeal to the Nebraska Liquor Commission in order to receive an exemption, we would formally request a hearing pursuant to Nebraska Statute 53-133, Section D. Thanks for your time, and may God give you wisdom and guidance regarding this issue. And I'll open up to questions for them.
Just a point of clarification.
Sure.
We don't have an ordinance.
I know, not a city ordinance.
There's no city ordinance, and you're right. The issue will eventually, if you wanted to continue, would be a hearing at the Liquor Commission.
Correct, that's right.
Just wanted to clarify that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think at one time there was an ordinance, but then it got struck down, or maybe it changed. I don't know. I don't know the history of that, so.
Probably pre-me.
Well, that's.
Any other questions? All right, thank you very much.
Yep.
Anybody else for the public hearing?
My name is Julie Collins. I'm Jeff's wife.
An address.
And we live at 28650 South First Road, and we're neighbors. And so
Had to do it for the record.
That's right. So Mayor Morgan and members of the City Council, as well as fellow citizens of Beatrice, thank you for allowing me to speak this evening. I'm here tonight not as a lawyer, a developer, or a business owner. As a pastor's wife and mother, and a member of this community who deeply loves Beatrice, I have sincerely prayed for families here. And I've cried over the city and with people whose lives have been broken. And I want to speak honestly but respectfully about why placing another alcohol selling business near a church is not good for Beatrice, Nebraska. I want to begin personally. I have seen alcohol ruin lives, not in theory, not in statistics alone, but in my family. My father's first cousin went to prison because of alcoholism. My first cousin also went to prison because of alcohol. Some of my relatives have died as a result of alcohol abuse. Alcohol did not just affect them, it affected their occupations, their children, their marriages, their parents, and everyone who loved them. Alcohol is not harmless. Alcohol is poison. Alcohol alters judgment. It lowers inhibitions. It weakens self-control. It damages the body, the brain, and the soul. Overall, it can potentially destroy families in this community, one decision at a time. I am not here to condemn people. Many who struggle with alcohol are deeply hurting, just trying to cope with emotional pain. They deserve compassion, help, and healing, not more temptation placed directly in their path. As a neighbor, I am concerned for their well-being. As a pastor's wife, I am concerned for their future. And as a mother, I am deeply concerned about children. Children watch everything. They learn what we normalize. They learn what we tolerate. They learn what we prioritize. When we continue to add alcohol outlets, especially near a church, what are we teaching them? Are we teaching them that profit matters more than protection? That convenience matters more than character? That another business matters more than their future? We must promote greater values and godly convictions. Our children matter more than having more money. They matter more than opening another liquor store. They matter more than any short-term economic gain. Beatrice already has dozens of locations where alcohol is sold and served, several liquor stores, various bars, plenty of restaurants, all of the grocery stores, most of the gas stations, even a brewery and a winery. Lincoln is nearby with innumerable locations. We are not lacking in alcohol. What we are lacking and what many families desperately need is safety, stability, health, wholesomeness, and hope. Christian churches exist to offer help to everyone, especially for those with broken hearts. The First Christian Church and Centenary United Methodist Church provide a refuge to the weary and guidance to families trying to do what is good and right. Placing a liquor store next to these churches sends a message that is deeply troubling and completely contradictory. This is an encroachment upon the church, not just physically, but morally and socially. I understand the argument for business growth, but not all growth is good. A community is not measured only by revenue and development, but by the health of its families, the safety of its streets, the well-being of its children, and the values it chooses to protect. Alcohol abuse brings increased domestic violence, increased DUI risks, increased medical emergencies, increased law enforcement burden, and long-term trauma, especially for children. We do not need to promote these problems. I am asking you respectfully and sincerely to think beyond tonight's vote. Think of the children whose homes are already unstable as they are. Think of the recovering alcoholic trying desperately to stay sober. Think of the families who come to these churches seeking help, prayer, and healing. And ask yourselves, would this make Beatrice better? Would this make Beatrice safer? Would this make Beatrice healthier? We have a choice. We can be a city that simply allows whatever is legal. We can be a city that chooses what's convenient. Or we can be a city that chooses what is wise. Please protect the heart of this community. Please protect our churches. Please protect our children. Make Beatrice beautiful. Make Beatrice a place where families thrive, not a place where addiction is further normalized. Thank you for listening, and thank you for serving our city.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Nope. Very good. Thank you very much.
Okay, yes.
Anyone else?
Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, I'm Dennis Applegarth. I want to tip my hat, first of all, to Jeff and to Julie for their courage and articulate argument.
I need your address.
Oh, pardon me, 901 North 7th here in Beatrice.
Thank you.
For their courage and articulate comments as they come before you this evening. I thought they were very well spoken and brought up some great things. I've heard it said that the proposed location is 72 feet from the church. Have you been there? It's more like spitting distance. I mean, the parking lot is right next to the church property, right up against us. So really, the 72 feet is a little bit misleading. It's actually, their property is much, much closer than that seems. The fact that this is a proposed gas station to sell alcohol seems like a contradiction to me. I know, gas stations sell alcohol. I get it, that's all over the place. How many of you have heard the argument from your mom, the fact that everybody's doing it doesn't mean that you ought to do it? Well, I would submit that that's true here too. That yes, gas stations sell alcohol. That doesn't mean it's a good idea. It doesn't mean that that's something that's not fraught with likelihood of abuse and DWIs and all that sort of thing. So I don't know that that's an argument in favor of this establishment. I also have heard it mentioned that it's near the heart of our city. This would be the closest to the heart of our city of any alcohol establishment in the entire community. And I think that's a significant thing. The fact that it's so close, it means that this carries with it a certain appearance of a stamp of approval for alcohol in our community. Certainly we could look at the effect that alcohol has had on crime. The number of rapes that have been influenced by alcohol, the number of other kinds of crimes, argues also against the approval of a liquor license in this case. I agree that Beatrice is a beautiful place, and I certainly would love to see that continue. Obviously, if you approve this liquor license, it's not going to make Beatrice less beautiful in the next 24 hours, probably. Probably not going to make Beatrice less beautiful in the next week or two, or maybe in the next year. But over the long term, you will see the effect as these kinds of things proliferate, as those long-term effects begin to happen. I know that y'all don't make the decision ultimately about whether this license is approved. I get that. But I would urge you not to abandon the part that you can play in influencing those who do make these decisions by simply saying, we don't think that's the best choice for Beatrice. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Questions? Nope.
All right. There's no more questions.
Can we make comments?
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you. You gave me pause, a lot of pause, actually. The church did. When I sat down tonight, I was under the assumption that the church had signed off and said it's okay. And now we find out that's not the case. And we do have this law in place. And while we don't make the final decision, we do make a decision tonight. It's a great corner for a gas station. I agree. It's a great economic development spot. This would be great economic development. But the church that is 72 feet away is saying no. So is this the best use for that spot? And I'm saying this, and I have family members in the business of alcohol. So, I'm going to be honest about that. But, wow, they say no. So should we say yes? If they have to have a waiver, but the place they have to get the waiver from, they can't get. So do we say yes and let the Liquor Commission take the hit? Or do we say, maybe not here? And so I guess that's where I'm standing. So thank you very much for coming.
Bob, I would say, Dana, that this facility, in all disclosure, would be in competition with your brother's fuel station, right? Yes,
actually, that was a brainworm that I had this weekend of, oh my goodness, if I feel I have to vote no on this, should I abstain from it? Because my brother does own the U-Stop east of town and sells alcohol.
Correct.
And if members here think that's appropriate, I'm happy to do that. But that is not why I would vote no on this. Not at all. I was sitting down tonight with a yes vote. The church says it's okay. It's a great corner for a gas station. Gas stations sell liquor now. Okay. But now, I can't do that because the church that is that close says no. Now, I'm asking you, again, if you want me to abstain, I'm happy to. But I do not own a piece of that at all. Just saying.
Well, that's completely your decision. Like we said before, how you vote is your right to vote. If you feel like you have to abstain, then certainly that's appropriate. But if you also want to take the vote, then you take the vote.
Thank you.
I just want to say thank you for coming and speaking here tonight. And yes, I was the one that came to your church, because, I realized that I didn't think you had been contacted, and I'm glad I did.
Wouldn't be here otherwise.
Anyway, but I am.
I don't mean to interrupt, but I just want to make clear to everybody in the room that
Yeah.
we made this happen.
Yes, I know you did, and I'm not blaming you. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And I am not blaming you
We've
at all.
established
So,
that.
Yeah.
Move on.
Okay. But anyway, I am a no vote because of the location of it. I would love to see the convenience store there. I think it would be great, but the alcohol part of it is a problem for me. And so I am a no vote tonight.
When you drink it.
First, Dana, to speak to you, Bob's right. It's completely your vote. You don't let us influence you. That's not what that. You're here. I had a conversation with Dennis Applegarth here before the meeting started, and just so you know, we have voted against these before, and the Liquor Commission okays them. We had, in my tenure here, we had something that was very similar to this, Denny's Liquor on West Court. Not Denny's Liquor now, what's Mom's Corner. So you can tell how much time I go in there, but spend in them. But there was a church across the street from it, and it was within this 150 feet. And I don't remember how the vote went, but they still had their liquor license. So they had to reapply for their liquor license. So it makes little difference what we do. And I explained to Dennis that we had at least one time that I can remember that I think there was a guy that was on parole or probation for a liquor violation, and we voted against it, and they still did. The Liquor Commission still gave them the liquor license. So, I can appreciate that, and I can appreciate your pleas of that. But one more liquor store is not going to make a difference of the youth and the depravity in this community. When I was a kid growing up, my mom owned a liquor store. Helped put clothes on my back and helped put me through college. And my oldest son is a recovered alcoholic. He's 20 years sober, 20 years plus sober. So I get all of the passionate pleas. And I too, like Dana, I was a yes vote when I sat down here. I listened to you, and you want to listen to constituents, and it'd be easy for me to vote no on it because it seems like you're swaying public opinion, but I still haven't made up my mind. So.
Okay. Anything else?
I'm stuttering because I feel a lot like you do, Dana. We're talking $1.5 million, $1.6 million contribution to our community from an established company that this isn't the first shot. It's not like a mom and pop thing. They probably know exactly what the hell they're doing. And it's 6 or 7 permanent jobs, I think the application said. And that corner's been sitting there longer than we think vacant and has gone from all kinds of dollar amounts up and down. I think I'm going to vote no on this. I read that as if they did not approve that, and it was going to be a question, but it was answered for me up front. I just, and I'm chairman of the downtown committee, so at least now, I don't know if I will be, but I am now. I just think there's a better thing that we can put on that corner than that, and it's a nice enough corner that I don't think we'll have to wait very long. I know I've spoke to 3 different businesses in the past about going there. For whatever reason, they decided not to, but all 3 of them would have been something different than this. So I think we'll be able to fill that corner with something else, even though we're just recommending. I understand all of that. So,
I haven't made up my mind, excuse me, I haven't made up my mind completely, and congratulations and a very nice plea and very passionate statement. But let's also understand, this convenience store is selling a lot more stuff than just alcohol. They're there for fuel, and they're there for all the other conveniences that they could bring to the downtown area where people live because they can't currently get them. We're putting all the eggs in the alcohol basket. And I understand where you guys are coming from, but I also believe that 85 or 95% of their sales probably aren't alcohol. They're other convenience items that people need, and this would be a wonderful place to have it. Now, like Ted said, we could vote no, we could vote yes, and it won't make a difference to the Liquor Commission. That may be a plea that you guys make to them, but that's just my opinion.
I got a Tobias question, or a Greg, or Taylor question. So the building itself is where they measure this from, correct?
I'm not sure. Wall to wall.
It's wall to wall, yeah.
Okay. It's wall to wall?
Wall to wall.
From there, the wall of the building to the wall of our church, so it's the 72 or 74.
So it's the building.
The buildings, yes.
So if the building itself, the convenience store, was as close to close to 6th Street as the bank is, it'd be 60, 70 plus feet. It'd be out of the 150 feet spanned if the pumps were behind it and the parking lot was behind it and everything else was behind it and adjacent to their church, then this wouldn't be an issue.
Correct.
It's certainly, yeah, possible.
Ultimately, I think while our decision may have no impact at all on the Liquor Commission, because it sounds like it doesn't really matter.
It does.
I think it's up to each of us, though, to decide on our own heart, our own whatever, our own gut, our own head, and vote the way we feel strongly about, or, balancing everything. So I do think, while I agree, they'll do whatever they want, probably. I think it does, at least it makes a difference to me. Can I sleep tonight or tomorrow or whatever?
Okay.
Mayor, I will answer Mr. Fairbrick's question from earlier this evening of where else NP Marts are located at.
Okay.
What I could find was outside of Lincoln and Omaha, looks like North Fork, Fremont, Columbus, Nebraska City, Wahoo, Grand Island, and it looks like they just applied in Seward.
Okay.
Okay. If there's nothing else, let's close the hearing.
I move the public hearing be closed at 6:43 PM.
Second.
Your vote, please.
Again, this is voting on just closing the public hearing.
And that passes 7-0. Okay,
I move
Mr.
the application for Beatrice Petroleum LLC doing business as NP Mart 36, 200 North 6th Street, Beatrice, Nebraska, for a Class D liquor license be recommended to the Nebraska Liquor Control Commission for approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion up here needed?
I've got one more thing to say.
Okay.
I'm going to vote yes for this. I agree with everybody here that got up and spoke, and I really appreciate you coming. But I've said this dozens and dozens and dozens of times in my tenure on the council. The most difficult votes that I have made here are ones that I don't personally agree with. It would be so easy for me to say, I agree with everybody that spoke tonight. Nobody spoke for it other than this gentleman. I'm not voting for economic development. I am voting what I think is best for the community. So I'm voting yes for it. I apologize if that offends you.
Right. Anything else? If not, your vote, please.
4-3.
4-3.
4-3.
With Doyle, Rue, and Heido voting no?
Yep.
Pass.
And it passes. 4-3. Okay, we'll move on. Resolutions. Resolution number 7713, entering into an agreement with Gage County regarding the disbursement of GCED funds.
I move the resolution number 7713 be passed and adopted.
Second.
As everybody will recall, we did this a couple weeks ago, maybe a month or two ago now, when GCED, Gage County Economic Development Corporation, folded. They had about $30,000 left in their account. We've been working with GCED to have that money be returned back to the city and the county. We have an agreement. It's essentially the same agreement that you approved previously. The county had some issues with a little bit of language in there, so we've rewritten it just a little bit. But you'll notice that the money that comes out, if we are successful and able to get the money from GCED, it goes for economic development purposes. So hopefully, if you approve it tonight, hopefully the county will take action on Wednesday, and then hopefully we'll have a conversation further with GCED and can get them to release those funds.
Any discussion needed or more clarification? Dana, you look like...
No, I'm fine.
Oh, okay. All right. Looked at that for a minute and I thought, well, wait a minute, because we did vote on this and I thought it was perfectly clear. I think there was a misconception that I will try to clear up right now. The county didn't like the way the resolution was written because they thought that the city council was calling the shots. The city council is not calling the shots of where the money goes. The GCED is doing that. It's the money that they want to give back to us to put back into economic development. But I just want to clear the air that we're not trying to control anything. So,
Good point.
duly stated.
That wasn't my takeaway on it.
Anyway, all right, enough said. Your vote, please. That passes 7-0. All right, we'll move on to resolution number 7714. Executing the general release, request of reconveyance, and the deed of reconveyance, along with all their necessary documents to release and discharge MEI Homes, LLC, regarding their contract for sale of real estate.
I move the resolution number 7714 be passed and adopted.
Second.
MEI Homes, he acquired the lot at 430 North Fifth Street, so at the alley that goes to the parking lot. He acquired that lot from us a year or so ago. What? Post office, what did I say? I'm sorry, thank you. Post office. The alley goes to the post office. Also goes to the parking lot, but the parking lot to the post office.
We knew what you meant. We did.
Thank you. Remember, we sold him that lot for about $3,500. He had to build a home on it by August 1st of 25. We then amended that date back to January 1st. He's completed that. The home has been awarded a certificate of occupancy, so we satisfy all the terms and conditions of our agreement. And so this just releases that contract and everything else that we had as collateral in that particular agreement.
I will say, it looks a lot nicer than I had anticipated.
Yeah. Pleasantly surprised. Yeah.
I would echo that. I think it's a really nice use of that lot. It's going to provide a nice house.
Yeah, I thought it looked like
Any more discussion?
It doesn't.
If not, your vote, please. And that passes 7-0. Okay, we'll move on to ordinances. Ordinance vacating a portion of 25th Street adjacent to lots 1, 2, and 3, and outlot A, Crest First, addition to the city of Beatrice, Gage County, Nebraska.
I move that said ordinance be given number 26-1, the title thereof be approved, the rules be suspended, and the said ordinance be read by number only 3 times tonight.
Second.
A motion to suspend the rules is not debatable, so your vote, please. That passes 7-0. Ordinance number 26-1 by number only the first time, 26-1 the second, and 26-1 the third and final time.
I move that ordinance number 26-1 be passed and approved.
Second.
So what the proposal here is to vacate what has been platted as 25th Street, I should say, between just north of Scott Street. This area was platted sometime in 1800s. It's not been used for an extended period of time. And so what we're proposing is not only what is there in the red, but also what goes all the way down to Scott Street. That entire area there would be vacated. The city would retain the ownership of the southern portion there that's not highlighted in red. Next to that is the Leesburg lot that we acquired maybe a month ago or so. Right, it has a drainage ditch that runs through there. And then ultimately tonight, what we're going to propose to you is in the area that's in the red would be sold to RWR LLC, who are developing the apartments to the east of there for them to build a parking lot on.
So you're not, and if I looked at this map right, you're not just folding this in half.
No.
Like we generally do. This is a box, you're doing one side and one side.
Correct.
Okay.
The state law used to read that when you vacate, it went to the adjacent property owners. That changed a number of years ago, and now when the city vacates it, we can sell it to whoever we so desire. In this case, we would essentially sell all of that red box there to RWR, and then the southern portion right next to the street, the city would retain complete ownership of that parcel.
It does seem to clean up a lot of lot lines, though.
It does. Yeah.
And just as a point of clarification, there will not be an exit, what would it be, to the north out of there or to the west.
Correct.
So that parking lot is going to be, I mean, they're going to have to drive back out through it because they're not able to put
Not putting streets in.
streets in either one of those two areas. So it is just contained to that property.
And that was what I was going to ask, Bob. Thank you.
From the public? Okay, if not, your vote, please. And that passes 7-0. Okay? Okay, now we have an ordinance conveying real estate owned by the city to RWR LLC.
I move that said ordinance be given number 26-2. The title be approved, thereby be approved, the rules be suspended, and the said ordinance be read by number only 3 times tonight.
Second.
A motion to suspend the rules is not debatable, so your vote, please. And that passes 7-0. Ordinance number 26-2 by number only the first time, 26-2 the second, and 26-2 the third and final time.
I move that ordinance number 26-2 be passed and approved.
Second.
So now what we're looking to do is the part that you just saw, the red box, we would sell that to RWR, who are the developers, again, of the apartment complex to the east of there. The sale price is $9,000. They will look to build a parking lot on that ground. It meets all the zoning rules and setbacks, and so it's, in addition, all the storm water runoff from their parking lot goes to their drainage pond on their site and not into the drainage ditch as part of this addition as well.
Quick question. This parking lot is going to be
Paved.
paved, okay. It's not just going to be a rock, okay, it's going to be paved. Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion from the public? Not? Your vote, please. And that passes 7-0. All right, one more ordinance, I believe. Ordinance conveying real estate owned by the city to Landmark Snacks LLC.
I move that said ordinance be given number 26-3. The title thereof be approved, the rules be suspended, and the said ordinance be read by number only 3 times tonight.
Second.
A motion to suspend the rules is not debatable, so your vote, please. And that passes 7-0. Okay, ordinance number 26-3 by number only the first time, 26-3 the second time, and 26-3 the third and final time.
I move that ordinance number 26-3 be passed and approved.
Second.
This is the first step. Again, when we sell property, we have 2 steps. We have an ordinance, we have a resolution, but this is the first one we have to do tonight. This would be selling 24.01 acres in the industrial park on what is referred to as the Schwarzkopf ground to Landmark Snacks as part of their expansion. The sale price is $14,000 an acre, so it comes to a total price of $336,140. When we sell property, there's a 30-day remonstrance period, so it'll be a minimum of 30 days before we can transfer him the property.
That all goes in LB 840.
All goes back in the LB 840 because that's who owns the ground today, so yes, that money we could put back in there.
And if I'm not mistaken, that's what we paid per acre for it as well.
Correct.
So it's
Good point.
putting that money into good use, but yet we're still broke even. Sorry. county is kind of one of those things.
Sounded good to me.
All right. Any other discussion needed? Your vote, please. That passes 7-0. Okay. Now we'll have resolution number 7715, entering into a contract for the sale of real estate with RWR LLC.
I move the resolution number 7715 be passed and adopted.
Second.
Any further discussion? Seeing none. Your vote, please. That passes 7-0. Move on to resolution number 7716, entering into the contract for sale of real estate with Landmark Snacks LLC.
I move the resolution number 7716 be passed and adopted.
Second.
Any more discussion? Other than saying thank you to Landmark Snacks, who is bringing in a wonderful addition to the city. All right, your vote, please. That passes 7-0. That ends the resolutions. Public forum. The purpose of public forum is for the presentation of an item by the general public to the city council for consideration at a later date. No discussion or action will be taken by the city council at this time. Anybody here for the public forum? Okay. Now we'll move on to discussions and reports. The first one is the 2025 year-end review.
Yeah, this is something that you guys asked for a couple years ago, which kind of started the tradition, if you will, and so we figured we'd follow it up this year, looking at 2025. Pulled up on there faster than my computer, so. All right. Can you run it?
I can't.
Oh, there you go.
I see we're working backwards,
Hold on.
because that's in December.
Hold on. If I go to the link.
It worked better?
Boom.
Okay.
Yay. Good job.
All right. So,
Okay, moving along.
I don't know where I'm at.
Well, that's the lighted parade.
Well, I know, but I think she had that on like.
That's on the front page.
Yeah, I know.
The first page.
There we go. There we are.
there we go.
Okay, see, it starts and ends with it.
It does. Okay, so the first one we have on here is Lincoln Street, 25th to 27th. This was you guys kind of remember this was an old, it was a county road, right? And obviously the city grew out into it, and so it didn't have any curb and gutter. It didn't have any, it just kind of had the old ditches on there, no sidewalks, that kind of stuff. And so when we got 33rd Street to 27th done, we'll look to extend those improvements on into the community. We ended up with 10 bids on this project. The engineer's estimate was $784,000. Final contract price came in at $580,000. So we got a good price on it. MEI Homes was the contractor on it, and JEO did the design work on it. But ultimately, that project turned out really well for us. Then we had Corral Crossing. I think everybody's very familiar with that project. I think you saw it move along pretty well throughout the 2025 year. The only thing that's left out there is property pins were installed, so Pat's got to go in and put in electricity now. He said it should take him, the weather cooperates, shouldn't take him terribly long, but we'll be a little hold up getting that stuff done. But that's kind of the next thing or last thing to do at Corral Crossing. Then obviously you have Heritage Heights. That project is moving along. We've got, you guys all saw, we had some concrete poured here last couple weeks, but I think the weather's going to turn on us. I don't think you're going to see anything poured here for a couple months as we wait for warmer weather. The playground, we do have it purchased. It's ready to be installed. We just got to, they called the other day to ask if they could install it, and I didn't have a road to get them to it. So we had to find another date for them to come in and install the playground.
Too expensive.
Bryce, just so we have an idea, similar size to what other playgrounds?
I think this was also a $250,000 playground, so I would say that's similar to what you put in at Chautauqua. Saratoga was a little bit cheaper than that, but I'd say, yeah, any of those were right in that ballpark anymore.
Perfect.
I don't know the exact design of it. I'd have to go look. But so yeah, those things are moving along for us. We had the MSW landfill to the south. You guys have been out there. I think many of you guys toured that certain facility. It's big.
But is that?
It's a big project. $6.22 million for that portion of it. And at the same time, you also had the entrance into that. So since we moved to the south side, you had to redo the scale house, you had to redo the scales, you had to redo all the admin stuff and move it to the other side of the property. But those things were set up and ready to go for the next 70 years over there.
So the 70 years?
70 years. That's what we have. That's what's projected in the landfill.
I'm not going to see it. The bonds on that.
Yes.
You and I had this conversation like 3 different times. How long do the bonds run out?
Those bonds, I believe, are 30-year bonds.
Okay.
On this project.
And when we go and sell the other building across the street that we no longer use, and we sell the other property on Grable, does that go to the payoff off the bond? Can we say that?
No, because
Does that go into their fund, or does it go into
the building that's owned down on
Grable
that you're thinking about, that's the Mars building.
Okay.
So that, if it sells, that money will go back to Mars
Okay.
to pay their bonds. And then Mars will rent the building out at Boswa.
Okay.
And that rental price will go into Boswa to help them pay these bond payments.
Okay. So we're not selling both buildings?
No.
Okay.
No. Landfill, the entranceway here was another contract for $4.05 million. Yeah.
Does the compost and the grass area out there stay there?
I believe right now the plan is for them to stay where they're
Plan
located.
is to stay, okay.
Yeah, when I think of the site plan, I don't remember a site being on there to move them back across the street at this time.
Do we tear down the buildings then on the north side?
No, on the north side, you'll leave them up. They still have life in them.
Okay,
And trust me, guys always find things to put in buildings, right?
sure, okay.
The aquatic park study, we kicked this one off this last year. It's wrapped up at this point. I think the plan is to have a member from Water's Edge up here at the next meeting to talk to you about where the study came in, what they found, what they're going to recommend, and give you some different ideas of places we can move forward on that particular project. But again, this is something that's been out there for a little while and it's starting to make some progress on making some improvements at the water park. New fire hoses. This is something you don't ever think about, but you need fire hoses, you need fire nozzles, and so with the help of Merchant McIntyre, we received an AFG grant of the amount of $128,000 to buy new hoses and nozzles down at the fire station. And so I know they finished up training on those last week or so and put them all back into service. I didn't know that you needed training on new hoses, but that is a thing. So they had training on new hoses and nozzles and got them put into place.
Is there life in the old ones?
I mean, there's still some in there.
Somebody, somewhere?
I'm not sure what Dickey's doing with all of them. I know some of them went back to the water department because they need pipes and hoses and that kind of stuff, but I don't know where they all end up going or if he's got other secondary markets for those.
And those hoses they got technology in them.
Yeah.
Which is, I'm trying to figure out how that works with their phone, but anyway, it does.
Yes, you can run the nozzles from your phone if you want to.
Well,
We probably have some guys there who'll figure it out, but
I was going to say, we've got some really good young guys in that fire department that'll probably have it figured out before, I already have it figured out.
out at the airport, we had Taxiway C project. This one's just about wrapped up as well. This was a $5.66 million project. We issued bonds for it. Our share of it was 10%, so we had just over $500,000 in this particular project. Benish was the engineer on this one. The only thing that's left is the tanks are installed. We're just getting them pressure tested and all that stuff, and then they'll be ready to start issuing fuel again.
So the airport, this is one of those things that as I read through the packet, we're talking taxiway C and hangar A, and I'm not as familiar with the airport as I probably should be because we didn't do the airport for a long, long time. But of course, I'm that handout guy. I'd really like an overview of this so I know when we're talking about something, I can look at it.
I'll see if I can get you an airport site map.
That's what I'm looking for. Yeah, I'm sure everybody else wants one too.
And I will say,
I'll take one.
I think Benish, we always ask ourselves, contract administration is costly.
Yeah.
But with Benish in this particular case, I think at the end of the day, you're going to see it really paid off because they're behind.
Yeah.
And the cost of them being behind is going to be significant. And Benish is fully on board with that. So, you know, sometimes you wonder whether architectural firms or the engineering firms have this, the CA, the contract administration. This is something that really has helped the city in this case. I'm on a money-saving issue tonight, if you haven't noticed.
Another one we had this last year was the West Court Street water main. It was attached to the side of the bridge, as you can see there on the left-hand side. That's kind of standard practice back in the day. If you remember, South 6th Street was this way, and we bored it underneath. You may ask why. You got to think that pipe's now exposed to the cold weather. The old way. Gets cold enough, that pipe can freeze on you, cause some problems. It's susceptible to debris floating downstream in a flood event and hitting it. Knock on wood, we didn't have any issues there. And then ultimately, the state of Nebraska doesn't like us attaching stuff to their bridge anymore. And so if we can get them moved, they're talking about redoing this bridge here in the next handful of years. So we thought it was a good time to get that off of there and bore it underneath the river moving forward.
So is that pipe gone?
Yeah, that pipe is gone and taken off there, so.
It was a fun project to watch.
Was it?
From somebody that had to cross that bridge multiple times a day. It was really impressive how they did it.
It's amazing the technology.
Yes, it is.
Take it and bend that pipe, and I mean, that's $415,000 to do that project.
Well, and they were working hard every day, I have to say. They were there.
A couple of fun things we got done this last year, Chautauqua Park Playground. So thanks to the RCRP grant, we were able to afford to put some new playground equipment in there. Again, this was about a $250,000 playground. My understanding is people liked the field turf, if you will, that was put in as the play surface. All of the credit goes to Mark Beathod and Amanda Coleman. Between the two of them, they picked out great equipment, gave some diversity of different playground equipment around the community. Did a wonderful job picking those things out, spearheading this project, and really getting all of these different playgrounds up and running. So we also had the Sertoma Astro Park Playground, thanks to the Sertoma Club for their contribution in this project. This park has really transformed here over the last several years with the addition of the splash pad and then the bathroom, and now this playground set here. I think you've seen a significant upgrade at this site, and again, want to thank Sertoma for their partnership. Frobury Park, probably the one that nobody knows where it's at, but Frobury Park, located for those of you out in the Belvedere area by the South Water Tower, also got a big facelift and some new equipment out there. I think Mark said the old equipment had been there since the early 80s. So we had seen its useful life, and plus some.
I love all of these playgrounds, but I'm going to say this out loud for the public. We desperately need one on the west side, on the south side. We've lost Cedar, so just remember that we really need one there.
Everybody agrees with you, Dana.
I know. I just like to remind us all.
Yep. Keep beating that drum.
You betcha. Eventually, you'll get so tired of me. Hopefully, you'll do something.
You know, I think it's kind of interesting to me, and I think Mark and Amanda did a great job because they're all different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're all colored different.
Yes.
And they all have a little bit of different equipment, and so, you know.
Well, one of the things, you take your kids and you drive to different parks.
That's right.
There's different playground equipment at different areas, and they have reason to kind of explore town.
It's genius.
Yeah.
So tell them thank you.
Pickleball seating area. Everybody recall, pickleball has exploded like I never thought it would. And then we first started with the courts and got that stuff taken care of, and then we came back, and now we've added the seating area, and then we signed the donation agreement here at the last meeting to add the shade structures, partnering with the Pickleball Association to add those there. So yeah, we continue to just make investments into this recreational facility out there, and seeing it grow and expand.
Those of us that play, thank you. Thank you. This is a very quality park.
Good.
I ran into Mark today, and he said the same thing about the Lincoln School. The company that wanted to put the playground in at the Heritage Heights site is doing the shade structure. He said maybe the next couple of weeks. And so just so you know, the shade structure, the city's not paying for any of that. and that's all private funds. And they paid the lion's share of the seating things, but all in, yeah, my numbers might not be quite right. I think we're in at about $125,000 for the seating and the shade, and the Pickleball Association put in north of 40 of that. We raised north of 40 of that. So good private-public partnership again.
Well, and what a great use of an old, empty set of tennis courts.
Yeah, I don't know the last time anybody had been up there to play tennis. I mean, I think they had been.
They were playing 4 days last week outside. Yeah.
Riverside converted to.
Not quite as fun, exciting, but very much necessary. Lift station number 6. This is your lift station at Storecraft. With the help of Olson's and Phil Karkowski, came in and done a number of improvements there. It's one of those projects that nobody thinks about, but when it doesn't work, trust me, you will know very quickly, as everything from fast food row up to the hospital runs through this lift station.
Wow.
So it is one of your major lift stations in town. Improvements here were $548,000. And hopefully nobody will ever think about it again. And then probably the couple that people see the most is the improvements down at 4th and 5th Street. Thanks to a CCCFF grant that we were able to obtain, made some improvements in this vicinity, hopefully giving people a glimpse of what's to come with the RAISE grant as it moves through its process. I think these improvements especially come next spring as everything starts to bloom and you see the colors. I hope people will be impressed by what was done down there. I think on 5th Street, I think we listened. We heard the complaints that many people had about the narrowness of the street, and James came up with a great solution and able to resolve those issues. And so hopefully everybody's happy with what's done there, and continue to see that expand and grow as we move forward again with our RAISE grant in the coming years.
I think everyone appreciates the improvements to 5th Street. I hear a lot
Good.
being down in there. That's very much appreciated.
So those are a few of the highlights. I'm sure there's something that we didn't think about or thought, but again, I think 2025 was a good year for the city, and I want to thank you guys for your encouragement and your support as we push these projects along and continue to make Beatrice a great place to live and work.
And just as a sidebar, I have appreciated the committees. It was something a little bit different. I know you had committees maybe in the past, and I think in the last 2 mayors, there may not have been a lot of committees. But if you think about the things that have been done, certainly the decision is here, but I think there's been a lot of dedication to the committee work, and we will continue that for 1 more year, at least under my reign, and the new mayor can make a decision of what they'd like to do after that. So thanks everybody here for the efforts that they've done.
I was going to say this before you even said that, Bob, but wanted to thank you and Tobias both for your guidance through all of this. And when I sat down, I looked at that. I remembered if you looked through it, which I'm sure all of you did, you remember little things that happened through every one of those. And all those are wonderful, and there's a lot of money spent there, and they're all great improvements for the community. But I immediately thought of like 10 more that we did. I mean, I don't want people to think that's all we did, because we did a lot more than that in this city in the last year or so. So congratulate all of you. Thank you for your guidance, you guys.
Well, we still have a number of items get accomplished before December of 26.
There we go.
Yep.
Fasten your seatbelt.
Good deal.
One of the things I notice is you hear, Tobias, how many times you said, we got a grant, this, the grant, that grant. So how much of an impact getting that money makes to what we're able to do. So.
We've already got none of it done.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Right. It makes a huge difference.
Yeah, I want to echo a little bit about what Terry said. I really appreciate, Bob, you appointing the committees. I know from the time you became mayor, I've been beating that drum while I did with Stan before about Dempster's, and I don't think without a separate committee, I don't think it would have gotten as far along as it did, as we have. So, eating the elephant.
Well, but the one thing that the committees really do is they build a terrific cohesiveness amongst the council.
Yeah.
And that is something that I am very proud to see us do as a group, is how we've come together, and if there's conversations to solve issues, we take care of them, and it really does help things move forward a lot faster.
It does.
I think the only thing, I'll just say this, and some people I've heard this say, well, you guys come together and just approve everything. Well, I think the committees and with help setting agendas and those type of things, we try to make sure that we get everything done right before we bring it here, because we'd rather have a chance to redo it if it's not right, rather than just bring it here and say, oh, well, wait a minute, this isn't going to work. And so I think there is a little bit of explanation behind the scenes of how much work goes on in the committees and other items to help us get to the point where we do have votes that are 6-2, 7-1, 8-0. So there is a valid reason for that.
I would just take a minute here and commend Tobias. If it's all pushed off at the council and we do it all at the council, he only has to deal with us as a group a couple of times a month. At the committees, when Bob had all these committees, and I had this conversation with Tobias, this is like whack-a-mole, you know. I'm in there to talk to him about Dempster's, and Terry comes in to talk about the raise grants, and Gary and Dave come in and talk about the school sites and the other properties, and it's like, you know, when I'm there, my stuff is the most important thing. So, and I've asked him, and he says, yours is the most important thing, his is the most important thing, mine's the most. And so I think it probably generated a lot more work for Tobias than it would have normally, but he's taken it in stride, and I appreciate it.
Although, if you want to knock down Dempster's before we get to raise grants, fine with me.
Please, I would love to.
All right, let's move on to the city administrator's report.
Yeah, again, just a couple of highlights I have in there. I don't know what we do if we didn't update you on the raise grant. So the CAST initiative, the last time I heard, which was last week, Senator Ricketts' office checked in, wanted to know how things were progressing. We have learned that our raise grant is in the office of the Secretary of Transportation currently. Wow. Been there since December 22nd for their review. Not entirely sure what they're reviewing or how long it'll take. But the good news is the Nebraska Department of Transportation did start a website for our grant. Oh. So they must be anticipating it coming out sometime. Cool. So, progress. Also, I think I sent all of you guys a link. Senator Fisher recently helped us secure $782,000 for new 911 equipment. So that'll be great. I told Chief only in 18 months will he be able to go shopping as we work through that red tape to get those funds released. But again, a wonderful thing. We're very thankful for Senator Fisher for helping us out and getting us that equipment. And then the last thing I want to bring up is at the last meeting, Ted, you had asked about the code numbers and how come we had such a large number of open cases.
And hopefully we can clear them up now.
Yes, and so I had Taylor work on it with the gentleman in the Community Development Department, and we were able to figure out a few things. So in November, we showed 455 open cases. The reason being, if they didn't go back into the software and mark that somebody had mowed their lawn or cleaned up a junk car, it still showed as an open case. And so they just weren't in their software system closing out cases. And so we went through in December, and Taylor worked with them to make sure we closed those cases and take a look. So if you look now in your packet, what you see is, as of the end of December,
Big change, I know.
we have 1,001 closed cases, and you have 72 open cases. And if you look at those 72 open cases, think about 36 of them opened in December, or 38 of them did. Obviously, everybody has a statutory right to some time and those types of things, whether it's 30 days or 5 days, whatever it happens to be, for depending on what the code violation is. And then you're always going to have some that are just open cases. Our statutes are written so that it's an ongoing notice issue. And so if somebody gets a notice for a junk car at their property and they move it, our statutes are written that it continues to be a notice for another year. And so those people who we know have a tendency to move those cars back, we leave those cases open. So when they move the car back on within the year, we don't have to give them notice again. So that may be why you see certain cases just kind of sit there and you're wondering, why are they just spinning? It may very well be the property owner or the tenant moved the car, but our history tells us good chances it's coming back. So we're not going to close the case out. We're going to be wait and be patient.
Plus you put in there that what we have to go through on every one of these complaints is like 10, 12 different things that all take forever.
Yes.
You know,
And I've worked with the office too to try and speed that process up. So
Yep.
we're making headway on that as well.
Thank you.
But-
Yep, thank you.
Probably been doing pretty good.
But I did notice though that we don't have as much information, right? You used to say exactly what they, sofa by the street or sofa on the front porch.
Right.
I did appreciate that information because then it kind of told me, how bad was it or how excited should I be if it, honestly, because if it's just one small thing, it's like, okay. But if something pops, it is, I may want to drive by and see what it looks like, if it's in my, shopping, yeah. I could go by and pick it up off the street, no. But I did find that helpful.
Okay, I'll take a look and see if that's
See
something we can add
if
back
we can
in.
get that back in,
Okay.
yeah.
Aaron?
It's just Chet sends me spreadsheets with all that, and then
Yeah.
I tried to make it a little smaller so that you could enlarge it, but
Read
that's
it?
just a field that I can add that back.
Great, thank you.
Anything else? If not, Mr. McLean.
I move the meeting be adjourned at 7:20 PM.
See if there's,
Is there a second?
Second.
see if there's.
And your vote, please. And that passes 7-0. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.